the Tim and Dana podcast show. Don't you know that Bigfoot is on the go? It's the Tim and Dana podcast show. Don't you know that Bigfoot is on the go? It's the Tim and Dana podcast show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bigfoot podcast show. I'm Tim.
And I'm Dana.
And we are just, we're happy to have you here. We appreciate all of you who tune in and watch us all the time. It's been a crazy busy time for us, so we're just glad to be here and be back in front of you.
Yeah, and be back talking about Bigfoot and all the stuff that we love that goes along with Bigfoot.
Yeah, so we have an amazing guest.
We do.
Where did we meet our guest?
So we met our guest at the 2024 Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Was definitely one of the big highlights for me about going to the conference was talking to Debbie and hearing her story. That happened actually not very far away from where the conference was. So yeah, that's how we met Debbie.
Yeah, so we're not gonna mess around. We're gonna bring Debbie in, and let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah. Hey, hi. Debbie.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Excited. I'm just happy
Debbie
to see
is like
again.
Debbie's all bronzed and beautiful from her fabulous job. We were just talking about that before we started here with the show, guys. But that kind of leads into like our first question about with you, Debbie, is tell us who you are. Like, who's Debbie? What do you do? What makes you happy?
Well, camping. Always love nature. Animals, number one. Nothing really like exciting. Like, I like house sit for, like dogs and, sometimes and stuff like that. I don't really do anything exciting lately, but until that was, just basic until until 2020. Things kind of changed, but just being me. And I got 4 kids and they keep me busy. They're all older, but they still keep me busy. And
we know.
We met your daughter.
You met
Alyssa.
She's my Bigfoot buddy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody
we'll
loves
talk about
Alyssa.
her too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So when you go camping,
Alyssa.
right, Debbie, when you go camping, are you tent camping? What kind of camping do you like?
We are still in the tent.
Okay.
Yeah, all my tent stories. Yeah, the rain doesn't like me and seems to follow me, and my tents leak. And we've had a lot of stories, but yeah, I'm still in the tent. So maybe one day, maybe I'll graduate to something else. But
so Debbie, I have to ask you a question. So have you ever tried to like sleep in your vehicle?
We have. Okay. I don't sleep. I don't know how people can do this unless you run your car the whole time with air conditioning. If it's hot out.
If it's hot, yeah.
Because we had to sit in our car one time because a bad storm was coming.
Yeah.
And because you couldn't open the windows, the mosquitoes were horrible. Even when it stopped raining, you couldn't open your windows. So the windows are all fogged. I can't breathe. And people come and sleep in their cars all the time. And I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I can't breathe in there. Like, and then you can't sleep. I can't sleep with the front seat laid back. And it's so uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I know.
So,
we're saying, but
our first time camping.
Well, yeah.
My first time camping, we slept in the back of my Jeep. Okay. And it was nice in there, and we had like these little window cover thingies for screens. And
there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you need screens for your windows. That would be awesome.
It's like they were like little things I bought on Amazon, like little socks that you put over the door. Boom, and so yeah, but
it was May, so it wasn't really hot yet either.
Yeah, and it was in Ohio, so
I've not really camped in the winter yet, like, so I don't know like, you know what I mean? I'm planning on it, hopefully, you know, getting out there and doing that in the winter at least a couple of times. But it's always full blown, like it's either spring or full blown summer when I start.
So what do you so when are the seasons? Like what is your best season for camping for you personally?
Um, well, I have to go all winter, and I wait and I wait and I wait, and then the group camp that I go, you know, I like to go to, they don't even start till April. So a lot of people don't even
Mhm.
start till April.
Mm.
So once that happens, I don't care. I'll be there every month. Like I'll
Okay.
try to be there every month or multiple. But
Cool.
it
So
ends in October, but then from October to April, it's nothing unless, you know, you can try to get somewhere in the winter.
right,
Right,
right.
right, right. Which kind of might even lead us into the story
Yeah, I think
that,
so.
Yeah.
you know, that's a great lead in there is when you can't tent camp in the winter, you can rent a cabin.
Oh yeah.
Feels a lot like camping,
Oh, it's
but it's a little
awesome.
more bougie than that.
Yeah, you got running water at least, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
When I camp, it's primitive, so we're used to it
Right.
now. Now I'd feel a little weird to be having electric if I had a, you know, regular campsite because I'm so used to just doing it with nothing. But there's nothing like
Yeah.
having a cabin in the woods. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. We've done that before, just going skiing with our boys. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But so then, I mean, so let's go back to your experience here because, you know, before, you know, obviously we're going to talk to Debbie about her Bigfoot encounter. But before that was, I mean, Debbie, were you really interested in
Uh,
Bigfoot?
I remember growing up. You know, I've always, you know, I like the crime and the, you know, the scary stories, scary movies, that kind of thing when I was growing up. Well, it does help that my birthday's on Halloween, just saying. But but so I remember like stories like I see on TV about like a Bigfoot, like peeking in people's bedroom windows, you know, and seeing these big
Mhm.
red eyes on the top of the window. But and I'd be all like, oh my God, you know, but just that's all I remember a little bit there and there, but never, you know, I'm not the kind of person that says I don't believe in stuff. I just, you know, you never know.
You're just like kind of, I guess, how we feel as
Yeah.
well right now about other things, do you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not going to
But you
say,
know better than us.
well,
You know
now I,
better than us, girl. You know better than a lot of people with what
Mhm.
you went through.
hmm
So take us back to camping in a cabin in the winter. So tell us about, you know, this special weekend that you planned with your family.
yeah. Well, also when my daughter was born, when she was growing up, whenever, I don't remember when Finding Bigfoot show came out. I don't exactly remember,
In
but
the early
Mhm.
2000s.
yeah, me and
Mhm.
her watched that together. We did enjoy that. You
Yeah.
know, we thought it was interesting, but
Yep.
that was it. Like, you know, I mean,
Yep.
it's a show, you know, no big deal,
Yep.
you know.
I watched
And
it
when,
too with my
yeah,
21-year-old. Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so I have 4 children, 3 boys, and Alyssa. So I went to a winery. It's 2 girlfriends of my son's. Us three went to. They took me to a winery first time. So we're just sitting there and everything, having a good time. And I had already had my 50th birthday, so I was now going on 51 on Halloween coming up before the, you know, we were sitting at the winery. And I remember joking with them, well, you guys didn't do anything for me for my 50th. Nobody did, right? So they're like, oh, well, let's go to Hocking Hills this time. And I was like, I didn't believe them at first because, you know, it's not cheap, but I didn't think it was, you know, I thought it was just going to be talk, you know, nothing was going to happen. And the
Hey,
one girl,
real quick, Debbie, let me interrupt you about Hocking Hills real quick, just to help educate people who are watching our show from other places. So uh, Debbie lives in Ohio,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and Hocking Hills, the Hocking Hills area of Ohio, is special for what reason, Debbie? Besides,
it's
you know,
tourist tourist attraction. The cabins are wonderful. It's got hiking, it's got caves, it's got waterfalls, it's known for its caves. It's got
Okay.
yeah, it's known for its big caves and stuff, and people hike all that, and beautiful, just beautiful. I've always heard about it. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen, beautiful cabin pictures. You know, I've seen all that, like, on social media and stuff. And I've always
Right,
said
right, right.
that would be, really pretty place to go. And
Okay, cool.
yeah, it is. It's people go, if you look it up, you'll see all about the caves and waterfalls and stuff.
And then
Um,
Debbie, and what area of Ohio do you live in?
I live in Eastlake, Ohio. So that is right up against Lake Erie. I'm about 25 minutes from Cleveland.
Oh, that's a ways up.
Okay,
Okay,
so
yeah.
then how long did it
I-
take you to get to Hocking Hills?
About 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, for the viewing audience, I'm gonna pull up a map of the Hocking Hills area, and just so the audience can see it, and I'll try to explain it too. So I guess it would be a little southeast of Columbus, Ohio, and northeast.
If you find, it'll say Hocking Hills. I stayed in Logan. So that's part of
Okay.
Hocking Hills. Yeah, there's like, a couple little,
Do you have like a small
Logan is like the main part of like the little, that's where they have the Hocking Hills Festival is at Logan.
Gotcha. And the next slide, I zoomed in a little bit and I changed the map a little bit, just again for the viewing audience. We'll try to explain it audioly. That's a word for the folks that are listening. But this is kind of a topographical look of the area. That's probably Logan right here in the middle. But it shows some of the Hocking Hills,
Yeah,
different areas around Hocking Hills.
I think Logan's in the middle, and then if you just like went up one of those little side roads to the right and just keep going up into Wayne National Forest, the cabin was over there.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Wayne National
that's close to
Forest.
where you were, where this happened. Okay, well that
Okay.
helps.
Yeah.
That helps the folks understand where.
We were like
I'll
on the tip or the end of Wayne National, where it says Wayne National Forest. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Even though it all connects, but we were like kind
Gotcha.
of like on the tip of it.
Okay, that's
Okay.
awesome.
Okay. So it's your birthday and
Yeah.
everybody's like, we didn't properly, celebrate her 50th, so let's go to Hocking Hills and get a cabin. So
Mhm.
who's all of these people who are going to be like
Okay.
included in that?
Yeah, we got 10 together. So it was me, Alyssa's boyfriend at the time. And then her best friend came alone. And then I have my let's see, two sons came. One stayed
Mhm.
home. My eldest stayed home. So my two sons and their girlfriends. And then my one son, Colin, his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend. So it ended up being 10 of us.
Okay.
What are
So I had-
the age ranges?
Oh
Just
my goodness,
approximately.
2020. So it was, let's see, what are we on? 2024?
Yeah,
Okay, so
today at least.
right, I had two of my sons. Let's see, this year they just turned, one turned 28, and then one just turned 26. So those two were what, 23 years younger? So in their
Okay, so we got
20s.
adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody was in their 20s except for Alyssa. I think Alyssa was, or maybe was she 20? No, she was, I think, 19 or something like that.
Okay.
And-
So basically it's you and like 9 other young adults.
Yes.
Okay.
I was the adult.
You were the adult in the room.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The mama bear.
That famous
Right.
adult in the room. You were literally right.
Right.
That's awesome though. Okay,
yeah,
so
it
this
was-
was going
it
to be
was
a big
awesome.
celebration
Mm-hmm.
for Mama Debbie and turning 50. And so you guys planned it in what, like when did you plan it? Because your birthday's in October. So
Yeah, it was only a couple months prior that she booked it, and then we went that quick, and we booked it for Halloween weekend.
Okay.
So we got there on a Thursday, and Halloween was Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
And we were leaving Sunday. So we were arriving on Thursday, leaving Sunday.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so of course, we get there Thursday. And the first thing I notice when we get in there, first you got to go up this road all the way up a hill. You're out nowhere land. You get to the top and there's the cabin. And just surrounded. One side has, the way I could describe it, because it's better to describe what it looks like. So when you go up to the cabin, if you're standing in the driveway, okay, you're surrounded by woods, even the road, like all the way up. But to the left of the cabin is where like the top deck of the cabin comes out, and then you have a lower level deck. That's where the jacuzzi tub is, and like a like for little fireplace, things like that. And then you got a little bit of a grass area, and then it goes down a ravine. So that's the
Okay.
left side. So the ravine is on like the hot tub side and all that, and the deck side.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the back of the cabin, and they have like it open grass, like a field kind of little thing open, but you're just completely surrounded by woods all the way around. It's just the left side is a ravine.
Okay.
Um,
And then, like,
so
how far down was this
it went
ravine?
down. It went down pretty good.
Like somebody, like, if you had like little kids and stuff, you'd be
No,
concerned.
yeah, you couldn't. They couldn't. Me and Alyssa, after we tried to see how far we could walk down it, and we only went a little bit. It goes pretty steep.
Okay.
Okay, so like like somebody could even get hurt trying to like go
Yes,
down there.
yes, I think so.
Okay.
It got to a certain point where you were holding on to trees, but then it got even more.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so yeah,
okay.
so me and Alyssa couldn't go past that. We couldn't go past that point.
Gotcha.
Or we maybe could have. I don't know if we would have rolled down or what would have
Yeah.
happened, but
Could have tumbled
Right.
down, right?
Right.
right. So I'm not sure what would have happened, but you could
Okay.
vaguely hear like a little creek or something down there. You can
Okay.
Oh,
vaguely hear
okay.
water a little bit.
Little trickling. Okay.
Yeah. And then not far from that, you walk up a little bit and you're at that little road that we have to come down to get to our driveway. And
Okay.
that dark road that you turn down and come down, it's small and it's just woods on both sides when you're
Okay.
traveling on it. Um so yeah, so we get in there, and the first thing I noticed, you're probably going to agree if you walked into this place. So I walk in, and there's bedrooms and stuff like on the right or whatever. You go upstairs and stuff, but the main living room, the dining room, and the kitchen all were attached, all big open, all together, and it was all windows
Whoa.
with no curtains. That was the first thing I noticed. I was thinking we're going to be in the dark woods. There's not one curtain. So that was the first thing that I thought was really spooky. Anyways, and you go downstairs and there's like a little game room, but the windows are a little different and stuff. So it wasn't as when you're upstairs. And then the you got the deck off, the top deck comes off that dining room kitchen area. You open that door and go right onto the top deck. The game room downstairs was on the lower deck level. And so yeah, so
So
being
windows everywhere. You could look out the living room or that dining room area, and you see the deck and windows and
oh
the
yeah.
ravine and the trees. Okay, I can visualize it now.
Yeah, it's just windows. There's no like curtains so people can't see in either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're sitting there in your rocking chair watching TV, you're literally by a window that's just there. And if you turn your head, you're looking out into the darkness, and like there's no curtain. So that was the first thing that was kind of spooky for me. But so then I go in the master bedroom, which I'm the oldest, and I'm getting
It's your
that one.
birthday.
It's my
It's my
birthday.
birthday.
So it's my birthday. It's the best room, and it had a hot tub in it, or a jacuzzi tub in it.
Right.
Well, to my surprise, I walk in. There is a door literally next to the bed, and I'm like, "Why is there a door next to the bed?" So my son opens it, and it leads right to the front. Like it just you walk out, and there you're almost on the driveway. And I'm like, "No, that's weird. I don't want that right next to my head." So then you walk into the bathroom that had a private bathroom. It had another door in the bathroom. So you open that, and there's like a cellar. You're staring at a cellar, and it's attached to this other little building. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. I was so spooked. I did not sleep that night. I did go in the jacuzzi tub a little, but I did not sleep until the light came up in the window, and I got like 2 hours because I was all alone and I was just spooked. And my sons, because they were in other rooms, they actually told me, you're not allowed to use that bathroom. They put a chair up to the doorknob, under the doorknob, and they blocked the other door with stuff. And they said, just because they felt more safe because I was alone. So that was my first night, anyways. But
So Debbie, what are you guys doing there? Are you guys hiking? Are you just like having good family
good
time?
fun. Yep, a Thursday while they were going running back and forth, already jumping in that beautiful hot tub that was all lit up with colors. They're all
Oh,
doing. I'm decorating the cabin with Halloween decorations, um, getting all into it, and then you know, the partying starting, the music, and Friday, nothing. That was about it on Thursday because you couldn't get there till like 4 o'clock in the evening,
yeah.
anyways. So Friday we all get up a little later, like, and then everybody's making breakfast. Like everybody brought their own food, so it was tons of bacon, eggs, you name it. And I even had remember opening the windows. I'm like, oh my gosh. So the first time I went outside after we ate to jump in that hot tub, because I hadn't went in it yet. So I go in, and the first thing I'm trying to get in the hot tub, when I was like, what is that smell? I was like so disgusted. And I couldn't, I said, is it well water? I was like kind of leaning over the hot tub because it had rained a little the night before. I said, is it wet mud? I was like, none of this makes any sense. People were like all trying to figure out what it was.
So
And
wasn't there the day before, Debbie, when
no,
the kids were
mm-mm,
out there? Okay.
no.
And what time of day was this?
This probably was about, I want to say everybody had late breakfast. So probably noon or so
Okay.
by the time, we cleaned up or whatever. And
And then what was the temperature like
like
outside?
20 degrees. It was
Ooh,
cold
that's
that year.
cold for October. Yeah.
It was cold that year, and because I remember
Okay.
running from the hot tub back to the door, hot tub to the door.
We've done that.
Yeah.
We've done that. That's
So
fun.
that was the first thing, and I was kind of getting upset because that was there on and off all day Friday. That smell, and I was kind of getting upset because this place is not cheap, and I was mad because I'm like, no, we got to smell this the whole time.
And you only smelled it near the hot tub, or could you smell it when you got
Well, we were
inside
up on
too?
the deck. You
Yeah.
could be in the hot tub. You could be anywhere around the cabin. At times, it would just hit you,
Huh.
Mm.
especially on that side where the deck was with the hot tub underneath and all that. But um, that was annoying, and I was mad because we spent all that money. I'm like, I'm gonna smell this to Sunday. But it was weird because I didn't smell it the night before. But
Hmm.
so then we went on about our day, and we're loud music playing. We are partying it up. We are
So
having
this
a
is
good time.
Saturday?
This is
This is
Friday.
Saturday.
Friday.
Friday.
Oh, so Friday. Okay.
So everybody's just having fun. In and out. People are taking walks. I spent a lot of time in the hot tub. And so like Friday evening came, and during the time the evening come and stuff, people would play pranks on each other. Like say someone was sitting in the living room and someone jumped in that window outside,
Oh,
scared you to death. Or my daughter was in the bathroom in the one with the door, and someone's banging on it. Just stupid stuff. And a lot of it was my son's best friend who would play jokes on us. Oh, I gotta tell you what. So there was these two dolls that were in this one bedroom. Okay, creepy. So everybody, if you went into your room, you'd have one of these dolls laying on your bed or sitting in a chair randomly, just to scare everybody. So it was like a little joke. But that's what we were
I
doing.
would I would burn them. The
So we were
dolls.
just, we're just having a good time. We were loud. We were having a very good time. And so Friday evening came, and the last time, we all come in, and they walked around because there was like a couple abandoned like little barn things and this house thing or something that they were checking out. I was staying in the hot tub. And so we all went in, and after a while, my son's best friend Matt and his girlfriend went out on the top deck and were out there hanging out themselves. Me and a bunch of us were in the basement or the bottom level watching scary movies. And it was weird. My son and his girlfriend went and used the jacuzzi tub before they went to bed, because a lot of people were doing that too, because it was so cold outside, and if 6 people were already in the hot tub, other people were jumping in the jacuzzi tub. Just so you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So, ain't much difference, but a little bit different. But so they come downstairs, and my son's like, "Mom, we smelled that smell." Once we were sitting in the hot tub for a little bit, we got a glimpse of it a couple times, and we were shocked because it was never in the cabin ever.
You mean they got a whiff of it?
In
Yes,
the
while they were
Yeah.
jacuzzi.
Okay.
in the
Got you.
jacuzzi tub,
Okay.
and
Oh, in the
that
inside jacuzzi tub. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, inside. So that was the first
Mhm.
time anybody smelled it inside the cabin, which was the way I look at it now. That room is the one that had the door that was going out to the driveway, and then the other window that it had literally was at ground level or a little bit below, like where where the wood line then comes to out on a little grass, and you'd be at that window. So we thought that was weird, and we're like, okay. And we'd all been in that jacuzzi tub, all of us, and no one
Mhm.
smelled that smell at all. Because I was so confused. I'm like, is it the water? But it can't be, because we've all been in there and we don't smell nothing. So that was a big mystery, what just drove us nuts. So they went to
Mhm.
bed. Then our movie ended, so we decided that was it. So I switched rooms. I gave Alyssa and her boyfriend that room. I said, I'm not doing that again. So I went upstairs with her best friend tonight. I'm like, I'm not. So I need some sleep. Now, Matt and his girlfriend were still out on the deck. So I went to that door and opened it and told him good night. And he said good night. And so he didn't say anything to me then. And so I went to bed, and I remember just getting up there, laying down. I was so relaxed. I'm like, oh, I got my phone out real quick, and boom, the door come banging open. And there's Matt standing in the doorway. And Tanija jumps up, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, we're looking at him like, what's wrong? He's like, who's messing with us? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, who's messing with us? I said, there's nobody messing with you. And he said, where's Colin? I said, Colin's been sleeping. So then his face changed when he realized it wasn't us. So me and Tanija then jump up, and we went with him and went down to the kitchen area. So when I get down to the kitchen area, his girlfriend is going like this out the windows, like looking for something. And I was like, what in the world? So then I go into the kitchen area, and it was so cool because they had their dining room table was a picnic table. So it was really cool. So I went by that, and I look out on the deck, and Matt had blocked off both stair things with the patio chairs. And I looked at him. I said, "What in the world's going on? Like, what in the world scared you that much?" He's a big, tall guy. Like, you know what I mean? And he starts trying to tell us, all this stuff that I don't remember in detail. He says it on the show, of the things that were happening to them out there. Pretty much, kind of like they were being picked on. Things were being thrown. All this weird stuff was
So they're
happening.
on the roof
Oh,
The
they're on the
top
deck.
deck. The top deck. Yeah.
And so how far off the ground would you say the top deck
I
is?
don't know. I mean, it's kind of up there.
Like
And
two stories?
Yes.
2 stories?
Because
Okay, gotcha.
if you're down at the bottom,
Mhm.
you go in the cabin, and you go in and go up the stairs to the next level. That would be
Yeah.
the kitchen, and that would be the deck.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. So
Okay.
it's on a second story.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's way up.
when you go up more stairs, that's just bedrooms. That's
Okay,
it.
gotcha. Okay,
So
cool. So that's where they were.
yes. And
Okay.
all below them, all this noise going on in the ravine, I guess, and things are being. He even jumped out like around the corner and stuff, and thought we were messing with him now to get revenge.
What did he
So
think was being thrown at him?
he didn't know. He didn't know who was
Okay.
messing with him. He thought it was us in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then weird stuff started happening. It was getting louder and louder. And he said at one point, I remember him saying something like either a tree was shaken or a bush or something, where all the birds came flying out all of a sudden in a just crazy
Hmm.
things like
At
that.
night.
Yes. Now we're talking 3 in the morning ish.
Okay.
Okay.
So well, they had been messed with for a good hour or so before that, before he got me.
Okay.
And when there was a huge bang by the jacuzzi area, like down to the right, and that's when he blocked the stairs and came flying in, scared him and her to death. So they come
Okay.
running in. So when we got down there, it was the four of us, and we were sitting on that picnic table thing, looking out the back window, and there was like some trees and stuff in the in the way or whatever, and a little bit. I don't know what we didn't know what we were looking for. We didn't. I was trying to listen through the window. I cracked it to see if I could hear anything. Don't know what the heck we're expecting. It was
So,
just
hey, Debbie, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So, the four of you guys are downstairs, and then there's how many other people? 6 other
everybody else
people,
was in bed. Yeah, the six, all six, other six were in bed.
all upstairs in the bedrooms.
My son and his girlfriend were down in the bedroom in the game room.
Okay, which
Everybody
was
else,
below where you guys were.
yes, and then there was two bedrooms on the level with the kitchen, which
Okay.
was where Alyssa and her boyfriend were in that jacuzzi tub, I think.
Okay. Okay.
When this was, they didn't even know what was going down.
Okay.
And then I think, and then my son Colin was in the room next to them sleeping. Then you
Okay.
go up these little stairs, and there's two bedrooms upstairs, and that's where Matt and his girl was sleeping, and me and Tanija went.
Okay.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
um,
So it's
so
so it's you, Tanija,
Matt and Hope, his girlfriend,
Okay.
downstairs now.
in the kitchen area. Yeah. So we're
Mm-hmm.
looking out all these big windows, but we're aiming towards the back for some reason. I think I don't know why we were aiming towards the back. I was the deck and then the back. I think they were where they were hearing a lot of stuff. So it happened to be a full moon, 100% full moon, and it is now Halloween because after midnight on Saturday it was Halloween. So it was Halloween, but it was about 3 in the morning, and I remember the whole back of the grass area, the field was lit up with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the glare from what little, we had a stove light on, and I think there was this other little light on, and it was causing a glare on the windows. So I said, turn off all the lights. Whatever's out there, whoever's out there, let's turn the lights off so we can see. So Matt and Tanija were over there trying to get the stove light off, trying to figure out how to do it. Then when they finally got it off, I mean, not a minute or so, I hear Hope, Matt's girlfriend, who's still doing this out the window, say, there it is. Now, I just happened to look that direction to see what she's talking about, and I see this black thing come out of the ravine on all fours. And it went, when it came out, it was coming out into that open area where I told you was lit up. So we could see the black thing perfectly. And it was on all fours, it looked like. So I then, because there was some trees or whatever, I wanted a better look. So I ran over to the kitchen window. You know how you have a little window over your sink?
Mhm.
And it was a perfect shot right where this thing was. Perfect, straight out that window was it. So I ran over there, then Matt and Tanija followed and were standing behind me. So us three were standing there by the window, looking out the kitchen window. So when I was staring at it, trying to see what it was, when it came out and was fully there, it's just started to stand up. And it was almost like it was in slow motion in my eyes. And it felt like it just kept going and going and going, and just it wouldn't stop. The height of it would not stop. And when he was finally standing, I'm staring at it, and he just was huge. How tall he was, his shoulders were huge. It was like taking a man on each side from the, you know what I'm saying? If you put a man on
Hmm.
one side of me and he was all dark. Um, I was in shock,
Mm-hmm.
just staring
Now,
at it.
Debbie, what makes you think this is a he?
Well, I don't know for
Oh, okay.
sure.
I didn't know if there was like facial
No,
features
I couldn't see
or
the facial features.
something
I'm going
about
by
it.
how big it was. Because
Okay,
what I'm
gotcha.
learning now is the big boys are the boys, like big boy. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I know he was a big boy, like
Mm-hmm.
huge. So I hear Matt like jumping or whatever behind me saying, "Do you see that thing? Do you see that thing?" And then I hear Tanija, who was a huge skeptic in everything, saying, "Do you see the shoulders on that thing?" So then I knew they were seeing what I was seeing
Hmm.
behind me. And then the next thing that just got me was just so calmly, no nonchalant, he just started walking towards the cabin, just like you and me, just walking right for my window that I was staring out of. And his arms were swinging. And I remember those hands being a little bit below the knee. And he was just swinging them and he was just walking so calmly right for me, just coming right for me.
So, Debbie, did it describe the walk?
I mean, he was just so like like so peaceful about it. Like it was like a human kind of walking. Like if you started to walk calm, his arms swung a little more than I think, but he just was so calm about it. Like, I'm
It
just gonna
looked
go
like a
walk
person,
over
just looked like
here.
kind of like a person walking.
Yeah, but
Okay.
mammoth. And I
Right.
remember I remember seeing I could see those arms moving in that moonlight. I could see it. And I saw the hands below the knee and they were swinging as he was walking. But as far as walking, he was just, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many steps he took in one walk, but when I saw him coming, that's when I started yelling. And I start turning around. I didn't care about him no more. I start screaming, he's coming for the cabin. So when I turned and was screaming, he's coming for the cabin, I heard Matt and Tanija behind me say, "Oh, he went back down on all fours and went back down the ravine." And I didn't care. I didn't turn around. I just ran and got everybody up. I was freaking out. Um, and he heard me. He heard me scream.
Hmm.
So
Did you
um,
scream anything like verbal or was it just like a scream? Like, did you?
no, I wasn't screaming. I was yelling, "He's coming for the cabin."
Okay.
Okay,
That was my
okay.
exact words I kept saying over and over again. He's coming for the
Yeah.
cabin.
Could you
And
see? Could you tell that he had hair or fur all over him,
I mean, I
or could
couldn't
you
see it up close, but the way how dark he was, he just looked like he just was one just dark hairy thing.
one color all the way through?
Yes.
Okay.
And did you, I
Mhm.
mean, any kind of eye shine?
I didn't see. I mean, I was in shock. I don't remember eye shine.
You might not have seen it if all the lights were off. Anyway, there wouldn't have been any light to
Yeah,
shine.
he was the only.
Yeah.
I saw him so good was because he stepped out into the moonlight that lit
Mhm.
up that yard, like that back part,
Mhm.
beautifully.
Okay.
And when he
Okay.
stepped out in that moonlight is when we got to see him. If it
Mhm.
would have not if been bright, I would have never saw him come out.
So, I mean, like, so here you are, a woman, a beautiful 50-year-old woman. It's been on the earth for a half a century, and this is happening. Like, what is going through your mind?
You know what? Oh my gosh. I can't believe this is happening right now. Can you hold on one second?
Yes.
So yeah, um I forgot what I was saying.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
we're
I
just
was in
kind of.
shock. Yeah, so I was screaming. I got everybody up. And we all went on that top deck I told you about. and everybody's out there because they're like, what's going on? Everybody's curious. I'm over here flipping out still. I was jumping. I'd hear something. I was like, and then the woods lit up. I mean, all 10 of us got to hear all the vocal, all the tree breaking, all that sound like a war zone going on. So everybody got to experience that. And there was 3 vocals that stood out. One sounded like a woman screaming from the ravine. Then the other one was oh my gosh. So the other one was
It's okay.
okay, so it was like a howl. And I looked at my daughter and I'm like, that sounds like the Ohio, like from that show Finding Bigfoot. I go, that totally sounds like that. She's like, yes, it does. So I'm assuming that was like the Ohio howl. Perfect too. It was perfect for me to recognize it from the show. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And I remember it was real long, and you know what I'm saying? So then and then it was, the only way I can explain this was it sounded like cavemen talking, like chatter. My kids still make fun of it to this day because we couldn't understand it.
So that's what you
Mumbo
guys
jumbo.
called it. You called it caveman chatter.
Yes, that's the only way I could describe it. Like, it didn't make sense. You could not understand it. It was like mumbo jumbo. And
But caveman chatter, that's just
new,
an
yeah, it
interesting
is.
name for it.
that's when I was on that deck. That's what came to my mind. I said, well, what is there, cavemen out there? Like, that's what
I
came
love
to my
it, Debbie.
mind.
I love it. I love it.
And then so we were hearing all that, and like I said, trees breaking, like it was so loud. And then we started hearing noise in front of the cabin. So we all, our little bundle was all like together, and we all like wiggled ourselves way to the front of the cabin down this, it had like a little ramp. So we're all like making our way down. So we get to the front of the cabin. We're all standing in a bundle in this gravel driveway. You still got all the ruckus behind us.
Oh, wait, you went outside?
Yeah, they were out on the
we've
deck.
been outside. We were on that top deck.
I know, but now you went like down,
There's a
out?
ramp. Yeah, there's a ramp
Oh
that
my
goes
gosh.
down to the driveway from that deck. So we wanted to go see what was going on in the front of the cabin now. So we all made our way down. We're all like bundled and standing next in like this little group in the driveway. And to the left, in the front, left of the driveway, there was like a little cute island they made, and then the wood line wasn't far from it. Little grass in between, and you could see the movement. It was so noisy over there. You can hear the walking, the crunching.
So when you say movement, like trees moving or figures moving?
You can hear like the steps on like if you were stepping into the woods, definitely breaking branches, bigger sounds. I think now that I know what a tree knock is, I think there was a whole bunch of those going on. But behind us still in the ravine, we kept turning around and we're like, okay, well, they're still there. So we felt like we were surrounded. So that went on for a little bit, and as we're freezing to death. It was only like 20 out, but at that point you don't care. And so after a little while, we went in the cabin. A few people were tired and went to lay down. I'm like, whoa, that ain't I can't sleep. So my son, Alyssa, and some other ones, we stayed up because it was almost daylight by this time.
Wow.
What did everyone think it was, though, at that moment, in those moments? What was everyone thinking?
The time we sat before daylight, we only had like an hour, so we went through every scenario that you can think of. I ruled out a human right away because there's no way you're going to have a guy or a human come out of that ravine on all fours, because when he stands up, he'd have to be at least 8 foot to 10 foot tall. So he'd have to have stilts. You're not going to crawl out of a ravine on stilts. So I knew that wasn't humanly possible. The way he came out, I was just sitting there, and I'm like, either I just saw Bigfoot, or a huge demon just came walking out of the woods. Like, I don't know what to say. It was a monster that came walking out of those woods, and uh, like, you don't. And my son, he's 6'2", and he was waiting for the sun to come up a little bit. So as soon as it did, he ran out there. Him and Alyssa and Tanija. They saw where the opening was, where he would have crawled out, and all the brush and everything, you couldn't walk out. You had to crawl out. And if we crawled back in, he could go in for a certain distance, and then he'd be able to stand back up. So we know why he crawled out. It was high grass, but it was all batted down, all the way till you could see. Like, it's like just all batted down, so you really couldn't tell. But I looked through the window at my son, and he towered over my son. My son's 6'2". I mean, towered over him. He didn't look there was no comparison whatsoever.
That's awesome
And
that you were able to do that, have a comparison, have
yeah,
someone there to do that.
yeah. And Matt, he's tall too and bigger guy, and we put him out there. No, nothing. And Alyssa and my son were out there by themselves for a few minutes, and they were like a little bit away from each other. My son was by where he come out, and Alyssa was a little bit closer to the cabin, and they were doing those caveman sounds back and forth, making fun of it. And sure enough, that same sound came screaming out of the ravine. One of them came back out of the ravine at him. And they both looked at each other and said, "Did you do that? And did you do that?" And they're like, "No." So they came in. I said, "It wasn't that long ago when I saw him come out." And so then my other son woke up a little bit later, and he went to the front of the cabin, over to that left side, to see what was going on over there, see if anything. And he saw the ground looked a little disturbed, so he pushed the leaves out of the way, and there was a huge print. And if you're standing there, if you put your foot near where it was, he had perfect view of all of us standing in a group on the driveway, just watching us, plain as day.
Wow.
And that's on the show. That's at the end. They show that print real quick.
And then, hey, quick question, Debbie. So, I mean, there's so many questions, so I'm going to try to get in as many as I can here. So what was your, like, I mean, what did you think? I mean, I can't imagine being like not a big into Bigfoot person having this happen. I mean, could you say demon? Was it, I mean, could you tell that it was 3-dimensional or
No, it looked like if like
like a shadow?
if like King Kong walked out of the woods, like
But could you tell that it was 3-dimensional and that it wasn't a shadow?
No, the way he come out and stood up and acted, and the way he walked, that was no shadow.
So you could tell
that it was
you could tell it was
something, a creature.
3-dimensional. Okay,
That was
okay.
something, yeah.
And
so that we stayed. So then Saturday night, me and Alyssa stayed up almost all night, curious. And from that morning till we left on Sunday, all day Saturday night, and Sunday, the smell was gone. Never smelled it again. It was peaceful. You could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet. It was so different. Because I remember on Friday, people having that feeling of being watched. Weird, eerie feeling that a couple people had said during the day on Friday. But yeah, after that morning, after all that, it was fine. Smell was gone.
Did you, I mean, just out of curiosity, did you mention anything to the
No.
host of the cabin?
Never told her.
Leave a review. Hey,
Hey,
5
yeah.
stars for
I
that
never-
Bigfoot experience.
Yeah, I never told her. I never told her. I don't know why. I don't think I wanted to bring like all this attention to her.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh my God, my hair looks like gray all of a sudden.
It looks good, girl. It's all shiny. You're so lucky with your shiny straight hair.
I'm like outside because the dog's barking now, and now my hair went from black to gray. I had
It's
no
okay.
idea.
You're the
I
don't
dye
know.
mine gray.
Wait,
Can
I'm
you
getting back to
tell?
normal. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah.
Get a little bit
Oh,
back
there
to
you
normal.
go. There you go.
Oh, just what is
So
happening?
I almost wonder, I don't know if anyone's asked you this, because bacon is sometimes people use bacon to supposedly draw Bigfoot out. Do you think you guys were cooking breakfast
Yeah,
that
we
morning?
cooked a lot of it. I think now that the stuff I've learned and everything since that time, the bacon, I had to open the windows, the loud music, the loudness of our voices, because we were loud. I'm loud. And just talk, even if we're talking, we're just more loud people. They're just curious. We were. I think personally, I think they probably have visited this cabin before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when I went home, I didn't know what to do with all this. I I didn't know my head was exploding.
I can imagine.
So the only thing I could do was I started reaching out, and I sent, I think, a message to, like, on Facebook or something, to like Matt Moneymaker and Cliff, because that's the only ones I knew that were in Bigfoot world at all. I didn't know nobody, nothing. So Matt Moneymaker happened to call me back, which shocked me to death when I answered the phone, heard his voice, and he's like, he told me he was there a week and a half prior, and for a sighting, and he said it was only a mile from the cabin that I was at.
And that was in 2020?
Yeah. And then when I talked to him and I told him, it was walking, coming for the cat, walking towards, he goes, yeah, it was coming. He goes, you turned the lights out. So he knew he could come out. You couldn't see him, he thought. And he goes, and he thought you guys were sleeping. So I said, well, what was he doing? He said he was just going to come and peek in the windows. I said, well, that's bad too. I said, that's creepy. I said, what in the world? I said, you know how many people probably at Hocking Hill or any cabins probably get peeked on and don't even know it? Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, how do you feel now, like, of like really, 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 really knowing for sure that we have some kind of undiscovered primate that
Or
here in North
something, yeah.
America? Like, what do you like? You must be
I-
like, we need to document this, right? Or
oh, it's like, I don't want them to be hunted down.
Mhm.
But I just want to be like, I want to learn about, like, they're curious about us. I'm so curious about them. And like, I would rather be camping or in the woods. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm working on it. I panic, okay? My daughter, just, it drives her crazy. If I think one is too close, I go in panic mode. I am losing it. And everybody's trying to teach you to calm you down. They haven't hurt anyone. Blah blah blah. I said that's true. They, just the one at my cabin could have took us all out.
So you're saying like while you're camping, you might go into depending on the location.
If I think one's near me, if I hear it and I think one's getting close, I panic.
Okay.
I'll start to run away, or I'll start to, people laugh at me. They think it's funny, but they don't understand that in my eyes, I picture this thing stepping out of the woods. Okay, I've seen it. It ain't a joke. He is a huge monster. Okay, it's like King Kong stepping out of the woods. So when I picture him stepping out and I'm right there now, like in person, right there, not hiding in a cabin, my body goes into like a panic. Sometimes
I
I
don't
can't even
blame you.
help it. But then I go right back and want to do it again. I don't know. I
So
don't get it.
I mean,
it
it's
changed your life, Debbie, right?
Yes, 100%. I just went full blown in the Bigfoot world. I have so many friends on Facebook groups. I camp at Salt Fork all the time, with different groups. Well, me and Alyssa actually have our own little group, but um, oh my gosh, and I've done a lot of research at home. I watched documentaries. Even about history, everything. I'm just
So
so curious.
so three of you, there's three of you that actually saw the
Yes,
creature.
and we're
So
we're
that's
all three on the
crazy.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's wild.
yeah. And then everybody else was experiencing
Big.
smells
Mhm.
and noises
Mhm.
and, seeing trees moving and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it was
Mhm.
a multi
Person,
witness
yeah.
experience.
Wow.
No, I'm
I
telling
mean,
you, when I think about like researchers and stuff that I know now, they would have been in heaven if they could have. See, I don't know if they would have acted the way they did, knowing they. I think they know that, they know when you don't have cameras or weapons, or you're clueless. I think they're smart. I don't know if they would have still acted the same, but I tell you what, someone would have got a lot of good audio, really good audio that night. Had the
Including
right
you screaming,
equipment.
right?
Yeah, if they would have had the right equipment at that right moment, would have got a perfect image of them in the moonlight.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, you guys don't have anything from that night. You had like a bunch of 20-year-olds
nope.
in there. Nobody got
Everybody
anything.
was nope. Nobody thought to. Everybody was
Even like
sleeping, and
even
then
like when you guys are like in panic mode talking about it,
no, I never thought to get my phone out and nothing, because I knew
because you guys
nothing.
were in shock,
Yeah,
probably.
I knew nothing. I tell you what, if it ever happened to me again, I definitely would be different. Now I could tell you. I already told my kids, I go, if we're ever camping, I said, I'll be able to tell you if there's one near. Now I know.
Because you know what listen for, the
Mhm.
smell, yeah. I can.
I've had a few close already, very close calls. And um so I know what you get used to the sounds, and when you can hear. They're very sneaky, but sometimes you very well can hear them walking.
Do you have any theory on what they are?
I don't know what they are. Um, I can't go either way on any of them, because I don't know. I just think the one thing I think is odd. I know they're smart. There's no doubt in my mind that, and I think they've been around a long, long time. Um, but the one thing that gets me is when you're doing a thermal. You know how if you see a deer or a rabbit, or you can watch them walk until you can't see them anymore. You can follow them. You get a Bigfoot on a thermal, just say he's behind a tree, you might get one step, or you might not get nothing. He's gone. Like, where'd he
Mhm.
go? Where'd he go? You should be able
Mhm.
to follow him when he steps
Right.
out
Well,
from
I
that
mean,
tree.
you saw firsthand that, how they can escape easily just by
Oh, he
going
just
in
as fast
places
as
where
he
we
got.
can't see them or we can't
Mm-hmm.
we can't track them for whatever reason because of how fast they are. But, so like it's obviously a situation where it's changed you and you're, like really interested in the subject, and you're an amazing storyteller, Debbie. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be that good. Like, you're great with your details, and you
You know
really
what?
could.
You know what that
Yeah.
shows to me, that I
Mm.
could do that, is that it really happened.
And it's
Because I've
stuck in your
never,
memory.
how many times I've told people, podcasts, anything, show, anybody I've talked to in person, I've told it exactly the same.
I
It
agree
and
with you.
because when it happens to you, there's nothing else to say but what happened.
Yep.
And that's never gonna leave me, ever.
Yep.
Ever. And yeah, I'd rather be the one that's in the woods. I would rather, even
Yeah.
though it scares me to death at times, I
Right.
mean really bad, I would rather be the one there where you're interacting.
Yep.
Wow. So Debbie, how can folks, if they want to watch, you were featured on a documentary series, and
Yeah.
can you tell the audience a little bit about that and how they can watch that if they choose to?
Yeah, I was on the show. It used to be called Terror in the Woods, but then they changed it to These Woods Are Haunted. So I'm on the series These Woods Are Haunted.
Okay.
Season 3, episode 7, and you can't miss it because it says, I think it says, he's coming for the cabin, which now that's the famous phrase, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And also,
We need to get
that's a
t-shirt,
great.
yeah.
I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff on there, and there's a lot of great little. I mean, they're great little mini documentaries, and so yeah, highly
now the
recommend.
only thing I'm going to be up, you know, because you have, you know, I'm telling the real story. Now,
right,
when you're on
and
a
they
show,
put that in the little. They put that in there that they change
Yes.
a little bit of the story.
Yes,
Yeah,
they changed a lot on mine, and they told
Okay.
me it was because they like to have, if there's 5 people, they like to have 5 actors. Whoever's there, they want the actors for every person. Now I had 10
Right.
people there. Because of COVID, they can only get 5 actors.
Mm,
So
mm.
it played us main 3, and then one played Alyssa and one played my son Colin.
Right.
Mhm.
And so they had to switch things around, and they couldn't use parts because they had no one to play it out.
Right.
This
Right.
is what
Right.
they told me. So I mean, they literally had the Bigfoot standing right next to the cabin, coming around a tree. I don't even know what he was doing.
Yeah. They got
And
to
then,
make TV interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
the only real thing on there, I'm gonna say one part is when they have him standing up from the back view, and it's real creepy of how him's going up and up and up, and how big he looked. That to me is what I felt. So that part,
Wow.
Okay, cool.
that
That's
part
good
was
to know for
okay. Yeah,
people who go to watch it that was your realistic kind of
yeah.
situation when you're
Like if you
but
really saw that, yeah, that was yeah, they did that part of. He wasn't where he was supposed to be. I was looking out a kitchen window in the back, you know, not on the side of the cabin where they put him. Well, they
Yeah.
literally had him right next to me where I could almost touch his nose. That's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But
really, Debbie, an extraordinary story.
Amazing.
And we really, really appreciate you sharing that with us and our viewers.
I was
We really
excited. I'm
enjoyed
glad to see
it.
you guys.
This was great, Debbie. Thank you again so much.
All right,
Oh, you're
Debbie.
welcome.
Have a great night. Thanks again.
Hopefully I'll see you guys again.
You will.
You will.
Oh,
Definitely.
I
You
know.
see us
We're
in
gonna run into
Ohio.
each other somewhere.
No, I
Yeah.
think we should rent a cabin with Debbie in Hocking Hills.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes, you're going.
She's
You're
got all
going.
her good Bigfoot juju going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it, girl.
She knows the actual cabin it
Hey, if you
happens.
ever do, there you go, girl. You could plan like a girls' weekend in Hocking Hills, and everybody could chip
At
in,
the same cabin.
but just girls.
I've been trying to get people together for that cabin, so I'm still working on it because I'd love to go back there.
All right, girl. Well, don't forget about me, honey.
I'm not gonna forget about you at all.
All right.
All right, Debbie. Thank you.
Thanks,
night.
honey. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, she's so awesome.
Yeah, she is. Her story's even, I mean, I didn't catch all of it when she kind of gave us, she talked to you a little longer than me. But it was just, yeah, it's amazing.
Oh,
So,
I thought there was something wrong with I'm sorry.
Oh.
We can talk like this because it's our podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, see what is going on with the lighting?
oh, I don't know.
Anyway, I feel like it's changing all the time. Like one moment I'm like, I look like I'm white and dying, and then the next, like, oh, look, my hair. I just got highlights I never knew I had. Thank you.
Like Debbie said she had her hair went gray at
like
one point.
the light is crazy. But it was so good
Yes.
to share this
Yes,
story. Oh
Debbie's,
my
what an awesome
God.
story.
I remember just being like for 40 minutes, just Debbie's just telling me her story. You know, we're in like a little corner down in the Ohio Bigfoot conference, and she's just telling me her story. I'm just like listening.
And her daughter, who didn't physically see it, but she witnessed everything. Her daughter was, I mean, you could just, it's just a wild story. I mean,
it was
10
crazy.
people that all had experienced things, you know.
It was crazy. I mean, just an amazing eyewitness story, because it was eyes witness. Like there were a lot of people.
And I think people forget when you're outside at night, and we even noticed this when we were doing a night hike, even though if you have a no clouds in the sky and a full moon, it's dark, you can see things.
I know.
It's not like, you know, it's just a
your
shadow
eyes
here
adapt.
You can
we
definitely
go right back
up,
to being wild.
Yeah, so it's definitely a misconception sometimes. I think that you think, oh, it's nighttime, you can't see things. You can see things. So but anyway, this was fun. Debbie, was great.
Fun.
Thank
it was
you guys.
good catching up with everybody and introducing you to Debbie. And so we're looking forward to our next one where we get to like introduce you to somebody else.
Yep. So you can always check us out on you know, on our audio podcast here on YouTube, or head over to the bigfootinfluencers.com and check us out, all episodes. So we thank you guys for tuning in, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.